up in a very poor rural area, Longview, East Texas. We don't have a lot of opportunities.
I have I have an in-law from Longview, actually. Longview, you would go to Tyler, right? Is that where they had the big escalator?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to insult Tatum at all.
No.
It's a wonderful school, but we kind of follow like career tracks. The big tracks, at least I know, were like welding, oil field training, and then like we had a nursing school nearby, so we had
Trades, yeah.
And so I did this whole nursing trade.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of resources, but I'm glad I went to Tatum. It's a great school, but again, we didn't have a lot of resources. We didn't have AP, we didn't have IB, we just had honors. And I did very well. However, it was because of the low resources, I feel like I wouldn't have gotten in or have.
Why are there armed men standing beside the table? I mean, I understand this is probably in the middle of a university where he has this table, but on both sides of the table he has security who are armed. Now, the likelihood of someone protest violently against that table even being there will probably happen. So I guess I'm answering my own question. Never mind. Forget I asked. I think I know. They're just making sure that he can hold these interviews without there being any foolishness going on, because, you know what I mean, people might have something to say when they see that table, and they might have their own ideas without taking the proper ways of doing things and setting up a talk with them so that they can be sitting behind the table. That's probably how this conversation even started. And if you like this style of content, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, also the notification bell, so that when we do put out new content, you'll be the first to be notified. And also, a great majority of our music reactions will be going on the LFR Family Plus channel, so make sure you follow that as well.
Compared to like Austin school students, high school, because they have AP, they have IB, they have all these resources to do well in college. And if it wasn't for affirmative action, students like me, I feel like would have less of a chance to go to a place like Tatum, where they had all these different majors and different organizations that would have helped students like be more capable to get a job.
I love her. She is so nice. Her temperament is so cool. Like she's communicating extremely clearly, and I just appreciate how driven and dope of a young lady she is.
Organizations that would have helped students like be more capable to get a job.
Sure. Well, I guess a couple of questions. Can I ask you, first off, not knowing your personal story, but I am very interested, how do you believe that affirmative action helped you? Specifically?
It would have given me, I guess, a more holistic look, like due to my, I didn't have any AP I beat. I didn't have much organizations I went to.
Sure.
So I was quite sparse when it comes to that sort of resume.
Right.
But I had a huge, a great essay coming from an immigrant family. I was first generation American. Because they were able to say, okay, she's not only black, but she came from an immigrant family. And because she went through all these adversities, she's still qualified to go to UT. It's not just based on your resume, academic or service resume, you know?
But it sounds to me like you said that you did perform well at your schools.
Yes, I did. And that's no joke.
Yeah.
It was just that.
She said, yeah, I did, and that's no joke. Yeah, you better hit him with your Americanized slang, young lady. Hit him with that slang.
Yes, I did. And that's no joke.
Yeah.
It was just that anyone can really do well academically, you know? I feel like
no, not anyone can do well academically. That's an accomplishment.
Yes. What's his name? Mr. Crowder. What's his name? Crowder. What's his first name? Just say Crowder Bits. And thank you very much, Crowder, for this content. This is a dope setup that you have, and I'm enjoying it. But yeah, it's not that easy for people to learn that the way you learn, young lady. You got that daggone super brain. You just think it's super easy for us to learn. Don't do that.
You know, I feel like
no, not anyone can do well academically. That's an accomplishment, and I think that's a far more important.
He's about to hit her with merit.
Measurement of who you are than your race, because it's a performative measurement. You chose to work hard and be good in school. you chose a career path, you chose to write a formidable essay. I think that's a great thing. I just don't see how your race entering into the equation, if these performative standards were met, which it sounds like they were, would help you.
Would that be like confirmed to like a Tatum, small school, small resource?
Forgive me, I'm not super familiar with Tatum. Is Tatum?
Tatum's the high school I went to.
Oh, Tatum is the high school you went to. And you're saying there were no high schools in your area that had AP or sciences, and you're studying AP here? What are you studying now? I'm
studying political communication, and I'm going into marketing.
Okay, so I'm confused. How would you need those classes?
Well, like to get into a place like UT, I didn't have a lot. And like I was the top of my class, but only in that small pool of like, I didn't have much competition.
Sure.
But like if I go to a place like Longview High School.
Right. Is that bigger?
Yes, a lot bigger.
Okay. Forgive me, I'm not super familiar.
Yeah,
I see them both as relatively small towns.
Yeah. I feel like I wouldn't have done as well.
Okay.
Because they had more resources and all that stuff.
I don't understand that.
Well,
you did. Hold on a second. Let me, because you seem like a very bright person.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either, young lady. I think if you, someone who is as naturally smart and bright as you, would have had the same amount of resources as someone in another class, the next class up, and they had more resources and whatnot, along with your brain, you'll be a superhero, in my opinion.
Well,
you did. Hold on a second. Let me, because you seem like a very bright person.
Yes.
You did really well in a school with few resources.
Few resources.
And you believe that if you had taken your work ethic, right, and your level of intelligence, which performed very well with very sparse resources, you believe that if someone provided you more resources, you would perform more poorly? I would imagine the opposite.
Wouldn't it be like with a bigger pool of students, more competition, more brighter students?
Well, sure, there's more competition, but you would have far more resources.
I mean, but to her point, she would have far more resources, but she would have far more resources in the beginning stage, whereas majority of the people there would have been already acclimated to some of those things that she was just now learning. Not trying to use that as a crutch or anything. I'm just saying she's not familiar with those new resources. So obviously those new resources seem a bit scary to her. They seem foreign to her, and it also seems as if those people who are there already know how to use those resources properly, whereas she would not. So they will have the upper hand. I'm probably not saying that right, but I also believe that this is more of a class issue and not a race issue as it pertains to affirmative action. I think that's actually what she's describing.
True. It's just, I feel like
he just sit there like, I mean, you just pretty much said what I said. Like, someone as bright as you with all those resources, combine them together, I mean, 1 + 1 is 2. You will be killing it, right? True.
For people who didn't have those resources, race, if they look at the race and be like, okay, you had these different adversities. It's still important. We still need these type of people, because if it was just based on like a blank academic like resume or like a blank.
Hey guys, and do me a favor, don't start talking no sugar honey iced tea in the comment sections about her not being able to express herself and see I got you and all this other BS. Nobody likes a person who just love the fact that they get it right all the daggone time. You know it all. Don't nobody, that's not cute. I don't know who told you that's not. It's not. You allow her to communicate it in the way that she can communicate it. She might not understand yet, but she might get to that point if you give her time, right? And if she still takes the stance that she takes after she has a full understanding as to what Crowder is trying to get off to her, then, you know what I mean, then you make a decision.
Well, it's not based on a blank academic resume. It is based on observable, concrete metrics. So, for example, your SAT scores or your ACT scores, your overall grades, your extracurriculars, right? All of these things are performative. What is not performative is being born black. And I don't believe that should enter into the equation, because I think, first off, can I? And I don't want you to take this the wrong way.
Yes.
It sounds to me like you respectfully are struggling with a little self-doubt, where you're saying that maybe if not for affirmative action, you may not have made it to this school. And that's sad to me, because I believe that if we take someone with fewer resources like yourself, who made her resume sing and dance and was a brilliant student, and we gave you more resources, I believe you were brilliant with little, and I believe that you would be brilliant with more. I think for you to think of yourself that only because of a government program you got into this great school is kind of sad, as opposed to relating it to your accomplishments. Forgive me, that's how I view it. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, I do. It's
because I see someone who came out of adversity, who came from a school that didn't have a lot to offer, and did well regardless. It seems to me that actually affirmative action, which would view you through the prism of race rather than your accomplishments, would be self-defeating.
I guess if you put it that way, it would be.
Does it seem fair to you to exclude people based exclusively on race rather than academic performance, especially as someone who's performed so well academically?
Well, if something was taken out. After she said it could be, something was taken out, Jack. I want to see what was taken out. Maybe they have a longer version of this somewhere that I can go look at, because something was taken out in between there.
Put it that way, it would be.
Does it seem fair to you to exclude people based exclusively on race rather than academic performance, especially as someone who's performed so well academically?
Along with academic performance. What he's saying is, although it's true what he's saying to her, she still has her understanding. And she is, so far, she's being schooled by Crowder. Damn, what's his first name? She's been schooled by him. But it's to her, she'll be better for it, in my opinion. Because she'll understand that she has a superpower, and that no matter where she goes and what she doing, how many resources she has, as long as she puts forth her best effort, she'll be just fine. She'll be just fine. And what she was describing about the school, the high school, and going to the other high school with all the resources, and her thinking that she wouldn't succeed. Same thing could happen for the university that she got into with the help of affirmative action. So, you know what I mean? She got into that school with the help of affirmative action. And if what Thomas Sowell said is true, then what she was saying about the other school might be true. Like they do this to get into these schools and then find out that them being, in the top 75% of their school, they can't compete with these people here who are top 90%. You know what I mean? Or top 10%, top 25, 10%. I forgot how he said it. But I think it's all about what she already holds, and she's about to figure it out.
Rather than academic performance, especially as someone who's performed so well academically.
No, I mean, if you worked hard, you should be able to go to any college.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
Did you work hard?
Oh, yes, sir, I did.
And you wanted to go to UT?
Yes, sir, I did.
That makes me happy. That's what I want to see.
It's just...
And I don't want to see it because you go here because you're black.
Yeah.
I want you to know that it's because you worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's a racism of soft expectations. Imagine if you're a black student who didn't score so well, right? Had a lower SAT score, didn't score so well, and you know that you're in the university as a diversity applicant. That's self-doubt, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want you to have it. To me, it seems so sad to have for the rest of your life to go, man, did I really deserve this spot? Or was it because of the color of my skin? I would certainly argue maybe...
Honestly, I would take that, and I wouldn't have self-doubt at all. If I bust my ass to get in that school, and there was a program to help me get into the school as well, hey, ain't nobody die for me getting into the school. So yeah, I'm fine with it. No self-doubt. I'm good. Move over. I'm here. Nothing to it. And hopefully she feels the exact same way. The way you're trying to word things is not the way it really is, man. That's not real life. Yeah, I get it. The hardest working people will win. Bull sugar honey iced tea. Bull sugar honey iced tea. The smartest people in the world, they will win. They will get the jobs. Bullshit. It's not true. I get it. That's your preference, and you would like to take race out of the entire conversation. But it's there. It's in the conversation. It's in the conversation for a reason, though. That's what we need to talk about. The reason why it's in the conversation, guys. Really.
You could argue this, maybe you would disagree, but culturally, it seems as though it's had far more negative ramifications in creating divisiveness on campus where, you know, sometimes people feel like, oh, that's an affirmative action student.
So now we can talk about feelings. Y'all see that? Sometimes people feel that they're missing out. Now they're being discriminated against.
You know, or like you said, you believe that without affirmative action, you wouldn't be on this campus. I think the effect has been negative. I think overall, if I'm being fair, the effect statistically has been negligible. And I would prefer to focus on academic standards and certainly not harm anyone because they're lacking a specific skin color. I think you worked really hard from what you told me. I haven't seen your test scores, but I believe you. I assume you've worked very hard and you deserve to be here. And you should feel confident and believe that you have a right to be here, just as I think that an Asian American who is here should believe and understand that they have the right to be here based on the merits of their performance and the contents of their character, not because of some diversity program.
Don't be quoting daggone Dr. King.
I just don't want to like.
Listen, I don't be just talking up, guys. I'm talking from my own experience. I love y'all though, man, but come on. Y'all gotta try to understand the fact that y'all say it's facts, not feelings. It's facts, not feelings. And he's talking about feelings and what he think. It ain't no facts. None. Now, it might be. If it is, then show them to me. But I'm sure there will be equal information that says that it helps people. So, I mean, yeah.
Of some diversity program.
I just don't want to like. For students who have no other way to get in, like if they didn't have, again, a very extensive resume, or if they didn't have a lot of opportunities to do a lot of service orgs and stuff.
You did.
Oh.
You're from what you've said, not insulting them. You're from a very small town with not a lot to offer.
Yes.
And it sounds to me like you did a whole lot.
As much as I could with the resources that were given.
She's from a very small town with not a lot to offer, and the main thing that they focus on is education. She's not from a very crowded city with people who look just like her, where culturally everybody are crabs in a bucket. And it's because everybody feel like they always got to defend and attack and defend, and she's actually in an environment where she can focus on her education. See, that's another reason why a lot of people who aren't from here, a lot of people who aren't from this country, they come here and they kick butt in the education system. Now, if you think that I'm lying, then go look at that. I'm sure there's some information out about that. So that right there it doesn't tie in to why affirmative action was even started in the first place. That's what we need to understand. But that's part one.
It sounds to me like you did a whole lot.
As much as I could with the resources that were given.
Right.
I mean,
why shouldn't we expect that from everyone else?
Well, just on paper wasn't a lot. So I don't know.
On paper, what you contributed wasn't a lot. So in other words, are you saying that you don't think you deserve a spot at UT? Are you saying that you think you got in because you're black?
Speak your truth, young lady.
No. Yeah.
You do?
Maybe.
The fact that you don't know right now, do you see that isn't that a bad thing? That's not a good thing.
It's not. It's not.
I want you to be able to say, I deserve to be here. And you know what? Wouldn't it be better? Let's say there wasn't a whole lot on paper. Okay? Let's say that's the case. I don't know. I assume that you probably did pretty well. But let's say there's not a whole lot on paper.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it still be better for you to go to a community college, right? Get those credits and know that you deserve your spot at UT, so that when I ask you this question right now, beyond any shadow of a doubt, you can say, no, I earned my spot here. I was more qualified than anyone else. That's why I'm at UT. Don't you think you'd feel better in giving that answer?
I would. It's just that right now I don't see anything other than affirmative action right now that would. I'd rather live with the doubt and still get the opportunities, you know, like, because if there's doubt that I got here, now that I'm here, I can push myself even forward to really earn it, you know.
You should have earned it before you got here, and I think.
No. I understand you trying to make a point, Crowder, but listen to the young lady, man. Like, hear her. I know you have a point to get across. Your point to get across is written on that table. And I understand your point. But you might want to listen to what she's actually saying. She's saying something a little heavier than what you're trying to give her credit.
earn it? You know?
Should have earned it before you got here, and I think you probably did.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, when you look at the statistics, they can't know. Black students can't know, right? If you are admitted because affirmative action exists, okay? Even if you are more qualified than that Asian student, if I ask that student this question right now, they have to answer the same way that you do. I don't know. I think I deserve to be here, but I don't know. It was affirmative action. Right? They have to answer that same way as the student who is in affirmative action acceptance, right?
That's not true. That's not true. They can still say, I earned this. I earned this. Same way that y'all say people need to stand up and take off their hat and salute the flag during the Pledge of Allegiance. It's a reason why that even exists. Is because it was earned. That respect was earned. That honor was earned through blood, sweat, and tears. Now, I don't know why y'all think affirmative action just popped up. It didn't pop up just to be unfair towards a race. That's just ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's the most childish way of looking at it right there. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about it, but it's childish to even look at it that way. I mean, that's the way he's functioning anyway, because this isn't a conversation. This is more like I'm leading you to agree with what they're saying, young lady. So you do know that anybody who has gotten affirmative action will have to answer the question just like you, correct? Nah, they don't, because some people are going to come in there and feel like, yes, I earned this. And he's going to say, what? But you were in affirmative action acceptant, right? Yeah. That mean what? I earned this. I bust my tail. I was the one working on my papers late at night, studying for my test late at night. Yes, I earned this. I absolutely earned this. Affirmative action or no affirmative action. You can't take that away from someone. I know where you're trying to go with this, but you can't take that away. It started for a reason. We need to discuss the reason.
But they have to answer that same way as the student who is in affirmative action acceptance, right?
Right.
That's sad. Even the person who is undoubtedly qualified, who deserved their spot, they can never answer, yes, I deserve to be here and be proud of their accomplishments. That being said, Asians on campus can answer it, and white students on campus can answer it because they had to perform to higher standards. So if I ask the same question right now to an Asian student on campus, did you earn your spot here? Do you deserve to be here? They will be able to tell me beyond any shadow of a doubt, absolutely. I earned higher in the SATs. I did more extracurriculars. I earned my spot at this university. You can't because...
Come on, bruh. Come on. Yes, she can. Yes, she can. You can't. Yes, she can. Yes, she can. She can very well say that she earned her spot. Them Asians, they can very well say they earned their spot. The whites, they can say that they earned their spot. They can. I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to that. And I'm not. At all. That's ridiculous.
Earned my spot at this university. You can't because of the policy in place. And that to me is a very, it's not only beyond the idea that affirmative action hasn't been effective.
You just now went through this whole thing, got all these views and whatnot, just to degrade this young lady. She's sitting in front of you. You do realize you're talking to a person, right? You're talking to a human being who feels like she's extremely intelligent, like she earned her right to attend that university. And you're telling her that you can't because you didn't. You're black. You got it here on the loophole. Then there'd be some people inside the comment section like, yeah, she did get here on the loophole. And
that to me is a very, it's not only beyond the idea that affirmative action hasn't been effective, I think that's immoral because it destroys the human spirit.
Dude, you just sit in front of a young lady and destroyed her spirit. I'm sorry.
And doubting yourself.
Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe he said, I think it's immoral because it destroys a human spirit. As he looks at a young lady who he just crushed by telling her, you don't deserve to be here because you're black. Come on now. I know my role is to probably agree with most of what I'm looking at to gain the fans of the content that I'm checking out, but that's just not me. I apologize, guys. It's not me at all. I'm going to speak my truth. And if my truth is mine, then it's mine. Only facts I can share with you is if we can go through my mind and back in time, and you can hang out with me on the blocks that I hung out on, in the neighborhood that I grew up on. Those are the only facts I can share. The things I went through. So at the end of the day, why was affirmative action created in the first place? But I want to hear what you guys say about this in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I am Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside the Patreon as well. Get over your feelings, okay? What we say? It's facts, not feelings? Then let's talk then. Let me see what y'all guys say in the comments. Love y'all.